If heaven had a creek, it would be this one.
Who can forget Moira Rose's creative vocabulary? Can we ever get enough of her beloved wigs? And were her singing performances throughout the series not simply unforgettable? Hi, I'm Dylan, and you're watching Awesome Movies. Let's check out the best of Moira Rose.
Do you realize the bebe is crying?
I do.
When she wasn't the best mother. Well, there are actually a few examples, but that doesn't stop us from loving this selfish and slightly flawed matriarch. Remember when it became clear that Moira didn't know Alexis's middle name? While completing a form for her community service, Alexis tested her parents by asking their help in filling out some details. It was pretty obvious that neither Johnny nor Moira knew her middle name. But as always, Moira refused to own up to it, saying,
"We have so many disasters bombarding us right now, my dear. The middle name of an ungrateful child is hardly a priority."
And what about when Moira vehemently insisted that she never abandon her children, only to have David quip in and remind her of when she brought the wrong baby home from preschool? Outraged, Moira exclaimed,
Alexis looked Chinese as an infant. How many times must I defend myself?
It would be a travesty not to mention the car scene where Alexis demanded to know why her mother didn't reply to her texts. You know, when she was once taken hostage for a week by Somali pirates. As always, her mom was ready with an answer.
"I had just had my eyelashes dyed. Everything was cloudy."
Ouch.
We all have to go, David, unless you have some special excuse.
It's my birthday.
Not to forget that time when David went missing and she was more concerned about her missing crocodile bag.
"I was worried sick, dear. Where's David? Or his bags?"
Or when he told her he was engaged, and first, all she could focus on was the cabaret production. Then later that evening, she melted down in the closet after hearing that The Crows Have Eyes have been shelved? Poor David. When she tried her hand at sales. There's zero chance we don't mention her Herb Ertlinger wine commercial, right? Though she didn't love the wine herself, this actress wouldn't turn down the opportunity to market the fruity vintners. And obviously the taste grew on her if her drunken slur was anything to go by. When filming time came, she suddenly lost her acting abilities, locking herself in her trailer. Of course, Johnny was there to pull her out. This scene still gets us every single time. From her ridiculous pronunciation of crabapple,
Dazzling peach crab apple, to his Riesling Rioja.
how she fumbles to get hold of the wine glass, to her various failed attempts to pronounce the winemaker's name correctly.
Bert Herngreif. Herb Ertlinger. Bing Livehanger.
That wasn't Moira's only shot at being a saleswoman, like when she and David desperately tried to get the locals to buy into the Allez-vous Cosmetics pyramid scheme, not knowing that they've already all been roped into the scam. The ensuing luncheon in their adjoining suite is comedic gold. We can't decide what was the funniest, their cheesy sales voices, the locals' dry demeanors, or David's orange face. Alexis exclaiming, "My God, you, David," simply sealed the deal on this scene. That one time in the kitchen. Yeah, you guessed it. It's none other than when she and David were making her signature enchiladas. Neither of these two are what you'd call domesticated. So from the outset, we knew this one would be fun to watch. The moment's hilarity is compounded by, 1, David badly wanting to accomplish this new skill, and 2, Moira hiding the fact that she's obviously never made an enchilada in her life. Poor David, not knowing how to fold broken cheese like that. As both get more and more nervous and flustered, you can see David is nearing his limits when he warns,
You just fold it in.
Okay, I don't know how to fold broken cheese like that.
And I don't know how to be any clearer. You take that thing that's in your hand, and you...
If you say fold in one more time.
It says fold it in.
Lucky for them, sad for us, we didn't get to see any other cooking moments between the pair. However, we nearly got excited when Moira once tried to get closer to her son by admitting her flaws. Naturally, she ended up talking only about herself and not giving him a word in edgewise. Her lamenting about how she lost her life skills after she met Johnny is just hilarious.
I could make a bed. I could fix a wobbly table or start a car without a key. And now I know how it feels to be utterly helpless.
Well, points for trying, Moira. Her most titillating singing performances. Her Jazza Gals audition simply belongs at the top of this list. It looked like she was a bit intimidated by the previous singer's impressive performance. So, how did Moira respond? Well, she kinda messed up her audition. Remember her maraca-like noisemaker? The whole performance deteriorated rapidly and ended just as disastrously. What probably makes this scene so hilarious is getting to see the group's confused reactions. Their performance is best captured by two things: Moira's skew wig and Jocelyn being diplomatic as hell.
Difference.
Then there was that time at Carl's funeral. Suffice it to say, when Johnny messed up his speech, the matriarch came to the rescue, albeit dramatic and peculiar as always. Her version of Danny Boy is a classic. The scene got even more obscure when she later sang it again, all while we got to see Johnny blankly eating a sandwich while staring at everyone.
Oh, Danny boy.
We all knew Moira had a knack for often seeing the dark side of things, so we should have known that she'd be ready for a pandemic. She always knew the secret to social distancing. Do you remember when Alexis had a bad case of the flu and was begging for some juice? Most loving mothers would maybe check their daughter's temperature and draw the blinds so she can rest and recover. But Moira is not like most. Dramatic as ever, she exclaimed,
I knew this day would come, John. Isolated, impoverished, cut off from all medical services. I only prayed it wouldn't be Alexis.
Then when she shut the door, for David's sake, while he himself was already in the room, weren't you just crying with laughter? Johnny's dry quip was the perfect end to a memorable moment. See, we're still alive, Moira. I think we're gonna be okay, he said. Now, what about that one time when she resurrected herself? All her friends and the locals were distraught after reading of her passing away. Spoiler alert, it was fake news. So after contemplating her life, she had the Jazzagals looking like they'd seen a ghost when she made a dramatic entrance at rehearsals. Her knack for melodrama. Her pronunciation is already peculiar as it stands, so when she tried out a British accent to get a good deal on a car, viewers were in for a treat. She deserves credit for really giving it her all, from her frayed outfit, her wig that resembled a mullet, to that absurd fake accent. You'd think it couldn't get more surreal? Well, you'd be wrong. When she started ripping off her Sunrise Bay character's backstory, it was the cherry on top.
I'm from London. I was one of two identical twins. Tragically, I was snatched from my crib at birth by Russian mobsters.
By now, we weren't surprised to see a blank-faced Johnny looking rather nonplussed by his wife's antics. He's gotten so used to her melodrama and slightly mad behaviors. There was one time when her laugh almost scared us. Note to self, if you don't want to look like a madwoman, never, I repeat, never laugh with your mouth closed. Also, listen to the sound of a hyena barking. Don't sound like that. Now, while still remembering that Moira's passion is her acting, can I just say, the crowing. That's probably enough to make you snicker, but just humor me, please. Though The Crows Have Eyes and Moira's apocalyptic performance never made it to the big screen, were her green screen moments not the best? And don't forget Jocelyn and Twyla trying their hardest to be diplomatic. When she had a maternal moment, but not with Alexis or David. The uncharacteristic moment was preceded by a typical Moira move. When Stevie learnt about David and Patrick's engagement, she rushed off to buy them a set of matching towels. She did this right before she was due to star in the production of the era, Cabaret. Naturally, when Moira worried about Stevie not showing up, she firmly decided the show must go on, with her in the lead, of course. Well, as we all know, Stevie showed up. In between acts, she was ridden by stage fright and self-doubt, though. And few of us expected Moira's backstage pep talk with Stevie.
Why don't we take our Sally by the hand and we go out there and show those people everything she can be? If she were only more like you.
Sweet, right? Apart from that scene, it's safe to say that the rest of Moira's maternal instincts were mostly directed to her other babies, her wigs. With so many, it's hard to choose, but a few stand out, like this Jazzagal's audition coif. It must have really helped her channel her inner Velma Kelly. And how about her wicked witch-like cloud of black curls? Or her absurd half-head of curls at her directorial debut? And the Edward Scissorhands? Well, now this can quickly become a rabbit hole to nowhere. So let's rather talk about that one scene where the motel room was on fire. It took the confused Roland a moment to realize that when she was shouting for her babies, she was actually referring to her wigs. In particular, Lorna, since if she takes on smoke, she'll never recover.
Moira, if Johnny locked you in that closet, we're gonna have to call the police.
Wait. My bebes.
No, your kids aren't here.
My girls.
What girls?
My girls.
Oh.
Lorna, second from the left.
Okay.
If she takes on smoke, she'll never recover.
Also, Moira Rose will go down in history for every time she said the word baby.
This is your bebe, Jocelyn, and an artistic cradle robber. I am not.
On that funny note, let's wrap it up with one last iconic moment. Channeling her inner religion. She's always dressed, well, interestingly. Well, at David and Patrick's wedding, Moira outdid herself. If there were an award for most eclectic outfit, this would win, hands down. Her ensemble looked like it was inspired by the Pope with maybe a bit of goth thrown in. And that 4-foot wig that wraps around her hat, wow. Simply, wow. That is probably one look we'll always remember when we think about this lovable narcissist. And allow me to wrap up with the classic. It's the grotesque family painting of the roses that just had to travel along.
Why does it seem like Mrs. Rose's eyes are following me?
Oh, she paid extra for that.
Over to you. Do you also miss Schitt's Creek? Would you like to add any iconic Moira moments? Share in the comments and stay awesome.